Hello everyone, this is Stephanie, your CSA coach, and it is week 3A of our CSA shares. We have lots of goodies. Our shares are getting larger as we get more into the season, and we have several pick your owns for this week. Only announcements are just to remember to bring some sort of bag, box, cooler to put your produce in. You can't take the crates home. And then also make sure that you're bringing stuff so that you can get into the field and do the U-picks. And it's rain or shine. So bring boots if it's been raining. Bring clippers, especially for the herbs. So jumping right into this week's share, we have spinach. Spinach gets stored just like this in the fridge. Once you're ready to use it, wash it, soak it. I throw it in my salad spinner. Amazing raw. We like to use it in salads, but you can saute it as a side. You can also throw it into like quiches or frittatas. What else? Our favorite is just raw, lightly dressed as a side. And I sometimes throw a couple extra things on top. But the spinach from the farm is amazing. So stored in the fridge just like this. We have salad greens, half a pound of salad greens. We're gonna be getting these a lot. And the thing that I recommend over the weeks is salad greens remain the same, but we can change up the flavor by changing what we dress them with. So obviously best in salads or as a base for some sort of salad or bowl. These are stored in the fridge just like the spinach, just like this. Don't wash until you're ready to use it, but change up how you dress your salads. So maybe make a creamy dressing one week, and then the next week make more of a vinaigrette. There is a PDF for a basic vinaigrette. There's lots and lots of salad dressings on the blog. If you still have some of your green garlic or some of your scallions, those are great additions to dressings. So use your fresh herbs, or simply just use like a lemon juice, an olive oil, or a vinegar, and make a very, very simple dressing. But salad greens, best used as a salad. Okay, 2 of our greens. So we have romaine lettuce this week. Our romaine lettuce looks like this. In comparison to my escarole, romaine is larger, and I'll show you comparison in a second, but romaine is great. Obviously, as a salad base also, it's heartier than our salad greens, so you're gonna wanna use our salad greens first. Romaine is also good chopped up. You can use it on tacos, you can use it on burgers. We're gonna have burgers this week, so that's what I'm using it for. But this is a little bit hardier and will last longer, but it's stored in a plastic bag or a Debbie Meyer green bag in your fridge. Do not wash until you're ready to use it. So this is what our romaine looks like, and very similar is our escarole. So romaine, escarole. You can also taste them if you're not sure, but our escarole is kind of squattier, curlier leaves, and it will have more of a bitter flavor when you taste the leaves. Escarole is stored the same way in the fridge, unwashed until you're ready to use it. Escarole you can eat raw or you can cook it. One of my absolute favorite recipes, I believe I created last year. Type in, I think Trisha just posted it as well, but it's an escarole salad with apples and dates, and then you can do a protein on the side. We are having that this week. I make it every single time we have escarole in our share because it's amazing, and my kids love it. And escarole has tons of amazing benefits and nutrients in it, so it's good to get into your diet. The inner leaves are less bitter than the outside. This pairs really well with beans, so you can do like a bean soup or an escarole and bean dish. Stored in the fridge just like this until you're ready to use it, but served raw or cooked. That's our escarole. So we have a couple of different vegetables that have the bottoms and tops that need to be separated. So this week we have turnips, we have kohlrabi, and we have radishes. So we'll start with the turnips. Very first thing you want to do with all three of these is chop off the tops. The tops get stored separately from the bulbs on the bottom. So I store the bulbs in a Ziploc bag, and then I store the tops in a Debbie Meyer green bag. Any of these tops can just simply be sauteed with some garlic and onion and served as a side. They can be eaten raw. They can be thrown in your veggie scrap bag to make veggie broth in a couple weeks when you have enough veggie scraps. The bottoms of the turnips, they can be eaten raw, so thinly sliced or shredded on top of salad. They can be pickled. They are amazing roasted. You can actually grill them. So lots of things you can do with the turnip bottoms. Our radishes, the last set of radishes I turned into pickled radishes, which makes a really good topping on top of tacos, or we used it on top of sloppy joes. The tops, again, stored in a separate bag. Same thing as the turnip tops. You can saute them with onions and garlic. Do a simple saute and serve it as a side, or throw it into your veggie scrap bag. The bottoms, great pickled, great thinly sliced or shredded on salads, raw. You can actually serve any of this raw in a veggie platter or on a big charcuterie platter. Just as like a nice crisp textured vegetable. Radishes are amazing roasted. So if you are not a big fan of radishes, please make sure you try the roasted radish recipe, which is on the blog. So those are radishes, stored in the fridge separately, the bulbs from the tops. Kohlrabi. Remove the bottoms, store them in your crisper drawer or in a bag, a plastic bag. Store the tops separately, removed from the bottoms. Same thing as the other two. We can saute the tops. We can throw them into our veggie scrap bag. The bottoms, I prefer them raw. There are recipes on the blog. I know there's a slaw. I don't even remember what else, but there's so many different options. If you go onto the Bloom and Glad website, click on recipes, you can actually type in kohlrabi and all of the recipes for kohlrabi will come up. Amazing for fritters, veggie fritters. So we have lots of things that you could use for those. You can shred them, you can thinly slice them. So lots of options there. Kohlrabi can be cooked too. It can be roasted just like our other vegetables, but I prefer the crisp texture of it raw. We have kale, a little different variety this week. This is our Tuscan kale, stored in the fridge in a Debbie Meyer green bag or a plastic bag. Kale can be used raw or it can be cooked. We're gonna wash it once we're ready to use it. Generally, you remove the rib, the white rib, before you're using it, and that I usually throw in my veggie scrap bag and then use the leaves. I know there's a recipe for kale pesto. There's a recipe for kale chips. I think they're ranch kale chips. I believe there's a few salads with kale. So those are all options. Can be eaten raw, can be cooked. So any of our greens, we can simply saute it with onions and garlic, salt and pepper, and then easy to serve as a side. So that's our kale. We have dill. Dill is best stored in a jar of water in the fridge. You can also store it in a Ziploc bag. I just find it lasts better in the glass of water in the back of my fridge. Last week, I think we had it last week, I dried mine because I knew I was too busy to use it. This week, I'm pretty sure it might be showcased, at least a portion of it, in this week's recipe. So stay tuned for that. Dill pairs really well with eggs. It's also really good there's a veggie dip, like a fresh dill dip that's on the blog. You can use that. Anything that's gonna be pickled, you can throw it in there. You can dry it to preserve it, dehydrate it. It also pairs really well with potatoes. So you could do like a dill potato salad, especially since the weather is pretty nice. We have scallions again. I am working on a few options for recipes for scallions, just because I have a lot of them. They're amazing from the farm. They get stored into Debbie Meyer green bag in the fridge. You can also store them upright in a glass of water. They're just large and they don't really fit in my fridge that way, so I store them in a bag. These are great for garnishes, great for adding some flavor to your salads, to you could do like a baked potato bar and put scallions on top. You can dehydrate them. You can add them to soups. You can certainly use them. They're a mild onion flavor, so anything that would call for onions, you can use a little bit more of the scallions as an option. And then our U-picks. So you could pick fresh herbs. Those are stored in your fridge, either in a glass jar or in an herb saver or in a plastic bag. I only pick the herbs that I'm ready to use. So I kind of look at the list of what we're picking this week and see what I'm going to use, and then jump to those herb boxes and grab a few sprigs of herbs. So I don't like to overpick, because if I'm not going to use it, it's a waste. We also got to pick strawberries, 1 quart of strawberries. These are stored in the fridge, unwashed. I have a colander, so it allows them to drain, like a special colander dish that allows them to drain. Last week's recipe was a strawberry mint chia pudding. Amazing. So if you haven't tried that yet, you might want to use these strawberries for that recipe. My oldest son actually asked me to make more this week. That's how much he loved it. So check that out. Strawberries can be simply eaten like that, washed and eaten just as a side. Great for on top of granola, on top of yogurt, on top of cottage cheese. You can make parfaits, and then obviously you can preserve them, you can freeze them, you can make jam. So options there. And baked goods. The first of our sugar snap peas. So we got to pick a pint of these. Fat peas are the ones that you're gonna pick, not flat. Those aren't ready yet, but these are sweet and delicious. They're stored in the fridge, either in a plastic container, a bag, or I just store them in a bowl. In fact, most of the time we don't even store our sugar snap peas. I'll wash them and throw them out on the table, and these will be gone before dinner. You can cook them, but you can serve them raw. We prefer them raw. Everyone in my house will just walk by the table and grab them and eat them as a snack. But amazing for stir fries. You can actually preserve them and freeze them if you want to. They don't last in my house. So that is it for this week. Remember to take a look at anything that you have from last week. If you're an every week share, use that up first. And then in terms of this week, you want to use the salad greens probably first. And then everything else will kind of last. But kind of make a list of what you want to use and go from there. If you are having trouble with any of our produce, things you're not sure of, things you're struggling with in terms of what do I use it for, please make sure you post on Facebook and then tag me in it, and I will help guide you. But make sure you're also reading those Monday emails, which give you lots of recipes and ideas for ways to use the produce in this week's share. I will see you guys all again next week.